Welcome to episode 13 of the Sports Geek podcast, presented by Seat Conference. Today's episode is a special replay of my presentation, Digital Case Studies Explained from Seat 2013 with Philippe Dor from NASCAR.
Welcome to the Sports Geek podcast, the podcast built for sports digital and sports business professionals. Your host, Sean Callanan.
Thanks, DJ Joel. My name is Sean Callanan from Sports Geek, and thank you for the prompts on Twitter and LinkedIn asking where the next Sports Geek episode is. Traveling on crutches and trying to record podcast is pretty much tough work, so that's why there has been a little break. I have been traveling. If you've been following the tweets, I was in Kansas City for Seat 2013. So this episode of the Sports Geek podcast is actually a recording of the presentation that I did with Philippe Dor, who's the Senior Director of Digital Services at NASCAR. We walked through a bunch of case studies around the world in this presentation. There's a few spots in there where we show some video clips, as well as the slides from the presentation. They'll all be accessible from the show notes. So if you go to sportsgeekhq.com/13, you'll be able to download them. And as far as all content from Seat, I've got working on a couple of other podcasts. I did a bunch of interviews with some of my mates at Seat. So there'll be episode 14 and 15 will be very Seat heavy, with some interviews from guys from the NBA, MLB, NFL, and of course Christine Stoffel, who put the conference on and did a remarkable job with over 450 people in Kansas City. It was great to see the CRM and the digital tracks growing from what was a small base last year in Boston. I expect all of you listening to the podcast to be at Seat 2014 in New York. But for now, we're still looking at Seat 2013. So here is my presentation, Digital Case Studies Explained, with Philippe Dor from NASCAR. Enjoy. Thanks a lot for coming along. My name is Sean Callanan, and I'll be presenting with Philippe here, and we'll be going through some digital campaigns, so I'll let you get things started.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of looking forward to have Sean present to us. Usually he's the moderator and talking all the time, so we pulled some good case studies here. Hopefully you'll find helpful stuff. Let's jump right in. So we discussed what would be the best, what makes a digital campaign successful. So we call it a trifecta.
So the first thing was around content. Like, we're all in the content business. We're fighting against Fox, ESPN, Sporting News, all these other places. So most of our campaigns should be around our content and pushing it out. So we'll be focusing on campaigns that profile content. The next one we're looking at is engagement. Everything we're doing in social is about engagement and engaging the fan and deepening the ties with the fan. So a lot of the campaigns, again, that we've got through the deck are on engagement. Then we've got one more component, which is for our friends in the other track, which is data. So if we're going to have a campaign, having some component of that gets some data, gets some email, geolocation data, as I was just talking about before with mobile. So if you can hit the trifecta and tick those three boxes, you're doing well. But you don't have to with every single campaign. So we'll just go through a couple of campaigns and show that they've got different focus and what they were trying to do, and talk about what they were trying to do, how they did it, how they went, and for some of them, what we might do differently.
That's right. So the first one, Sean, is West Coast. You're part of the world, so why don't you tell?
Yeah, so West Coast Eagles are an Australian rules company. Just to give you a background of what they're like. They've got a full stadium. They've got a waiting list. Their season ticket base is getting older, but they've got this waiting list they want to keep engaging. And usually they would do a season ticket renewal, sort of TBC at the start of the season. But since they didn't need to sell the tickets, this last year they just went with a real brand campaign and just wanted to build excitement around the brand, and they did that around a video campaign. And so this is one of the videos featuring Nick Naitanui.
Coming down to the beach helps me to relax. Memories of how close we were last season keeps the fire burning inside. I know we're close to something special. Childhood heroes make me believe anything is possible. There's an excitement within the group for the season ahead. It's not hard to find inspiration around here.
So those videos were 4 weeks out from the season when the fans were just craving access to the players and started to build up the season. And Mark Lacroix was the guy running past. So the next video was a backstory into him. So they ran the video campaign, they pushed it out to YouTube, they promoted it both on YouTube and Facebook. And really, the fans just rallied around it, and it was really good around that high-end content. I'm sure you all now want to have a holiday in Western Australia. They could probably do that as a tourism ad. So that's the West Coast one. Great. So this one is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Again, a content play around the NBA draft. So the NBA draft, gets stacks of coverage on ESPN. But once your pick happens, they start talking about every other team. And what the Timberwolves have done in their draft the last 3 years, they're hoping to not do this eventually and actually make the playoffs. But what they have done is been doing a live streaming show from their venue with a big, and they have a big fan event. So they have, talking heads talking about the draft, interviews with fans. Over the last 3 years, they've been increasing sponsorship and activations around it. So again, really profiling their talent as far as their digital team, but their fans really rally around that site for that night. This is a close one to my heart because this is my Achilles brother, Kobe Bryant. This is I don't know if you saw this campaign. This was a campaign from I think it was 2011 around that Nike ran. We've got a video that pretty much explains how it ran.
On any night, Kobe Bryant can transform without warning into an unstoppable force.
Black Mamba. What is Black Mamba all about?
That's my alter ego. When you step on the basketball court, you got to get into another frame of mind. It's about shifting and going into your zone.
The Black Mamba, an alter ego beloved by fans and feared by the competition. We set out to mimic Kobe's physical transformation into the Black Mamba on NikeBasketball.com. So when Kobe transforms, the site transforms with him. Since fans routinely call out the Black Mamba on social networks, a custom-made Twitter algorithm was programmed to generate and monitor real-time global social chatter and transform the site using Kobe-related tweets as a trigger. Every time the Mamba struck, fan social chatter would cause the automated site to change from normal Kobe state to the Black Mamba state once 1,750 tweets per hour was surpassed. During each of these Mamba moments, the site will offer exclusive access to content for the next 6 hours, like Kobe video interviews, personalized wallpapers, and a chance for fans to win exclusive Nike ID Zoom Kobe 6 kicks. As Mamba moments grew closer, the traffic on NikeBasketball.com exploded as social chatter spread across the web. A real-time Twitter tracker showed fans exactly how many Kobe-related tweets were being posted at that moment, and how many were needed to transform the site and unlock the Mamba content. Fans around the world would watch the Twitter working collectively to try and push the needle over the edge. Every time a Mamba moment happened, Nike Basketball spread the word with posts on social networks across the globe. As a special surprise for fans, a short film directed by Robert Rodriguez starring Trejo, Willis, Evil Kanye, and the Black Mamba himself dropped a couple days before All-Star Weekend, driving even more traffic to the site. Then at the All-Star Game on February 20th, Kobe Bryant scored a game-high 37 points en route to winning his 4th career All-Star MVP award. Global Black Mamba social chatter lit up the boards. The site transformed from Kobe to Black Mamba in the first quarter. Notifications went out across Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Weibo. Over 2 million fans have visited NikeBasketball.com to watch Kobe transform into the Black Mamba. Night in and night out, the site continues to reflect Kobe's transformation on the court. The Black Mamba may strike without warning, but not without reward for the fans across the world.
Yeah, so that one's just an example where it's hit the mark on all counts. Like they're producing the killer content, but you can only get the content if you get the engagement. They're getting the fans, riled up on Twitter. And this was all done before Kobe was even on Twitter. So they were even able to show it without even having him being one that drives it. So, phenomenal campaign, and I hope he makes a comeback from his Achilles because it'll give me hope.
And again, this is a great execution. We're finding a theme here. You'll see that the best execution are during live events. So it's nice to see as he's playing, you do this. A lot of the other case studies here that we have are very, very focused on live engaging content. This is another one from the tennis world. So Australian Open Tennis have been partnering with IBM for years. They've got pretty cool slam trackers for live results. They kicked it up a notch this year and added a social component. So you can actually measure the tweets, the trending module, and also what I like with this one is that they also added sentiment. So negative, positive, so it's kind of give it a little kick to just more than having to show just who's trending, who's got the most tweets or something like that. So pretty cool execution here from IBM and the Australian Open.
And it reinforces, if you go to the next part, like it shows the tweets coming in for Andy Murray. I mean, we all know that Twitter especially works well in live sport, and for a certain degree, sport has made Twitter because that's when everyone is on. Wimbledon pretty much followed up with something similar and sort of got into that infotainment sort of space, taking all the stats and repurposing it. So that's the thing, you can take this engagement piece and make it part of your content strategy. Infographics are really hot part of content marketing at the minute, so you can show, the buzz. And it's a good way of expressing to the fans that they're part of a bigger collective. It gives them a little bit of a push. It shows here the buzz around the world and the media that Wimbledon have provided throughout the tournament.
Yes, and the geo mapping, we've got several other examples here. It seems like it's getting a little bit of buzz. Here's a good example here. Why don't you talk to us about this one?
So this is one that we did 3 weeks ago. We were planning to do it, and then we were lucky enough that Manchester United decided to join Twitter, which made the event a little bit more successful. You may have seen trendsmap.com before. It has local versions and global versions, and it shows trends from Twitter on a map, which is what the name Trends Map. But what we've done, because the guys who built it are actually based out of Melbourne, we've helped them sort of make a product out of it and allowed them to build a product that can be pivoted around a sport. So in this case, we track the Game Day hashtag and the Man United and the A-League. So the A-League is the Australian MLS. And so we're able to show the trends around the world, heat maps in both Australia and in the UK. We're able to bubble up the popular content from a image point of view, and also the videos. So any vines that were being shared and retweeted by fans, if you just click up, it'll show more. They're all able to be played in line, as well as showing what popular users. And if you go down one more, it also would profile the top tweets And so a couple of things that we learned, especially having a David and Goliath battle in this case with Manchester United, even though they were on for 3 weeks, who was watching when they joined Twitter and they were just adding followers like by the thousands by the minute. And people are going, oh, I've got more followers than Man United. Not anymore. So they've got so many followers, like they dominated that top board. So like we're going to probably most likely break that out to be different teams. But the other thing that it also showed is the popular links that were being shared by fans. So again, another way those links are hot, they can go back to your site. It also profiled all the fans that were sharing illegal content. So we had to put in measures to say we don't want those links on this page. But it's a good way to again get fans back to your site. And so similar to the Wimbledon thing, we took content from this in the back end analytics and we repurposed it back to social to tell the fans, hey, way to go, you're part of this. So Philip, if you flick the slide, we sent out halftime tweets telling them what the top cities were, how many tweets were coming in, what the word map looked like, just to sort of repurpose it and take it through. So this one, I think you had this one.
Yeah, this is an example from earlier this year from Under Armour. Pretty good execution. They've invested. Seems like they invested quite a bit of money. They went multi-channel, made a lot of noise to it. They're basically asking the fans or the consumer to use the hashtag I will and offering giveaways for how they're gonna do something great this year.
And so pretty much, they were just asking people to either write or share a photo. I mean, when I first looked at this, I thought, it looks great, but they really didn't bring the social component until the last bit. So like they said, you can write on the wall, so if you keep clicking through, and then it asks you at the end, share this. And so the incentive wasn't there for it to really go viral. Or if they had have said, sign in with Facebook, hit the button, it's automatically going to get shared. So try the email piece, but again, you didn't have to, it wasn't mandatory. So I haven't got the data as far as what they secured, but had they flipped, and like the next slide I think shows, thank you for sharing your message, please share it, please tweet it. If you move that to the front, like I was saying before with the apps, if you get people to be signing in with the social connections at the front, the likelihood that they will share is much greater. So this one is a really unique one from Tunisia. So just watch the video and see what they did.
Ensemble, Fana Froida ressent le silence mourant. Les supporters donnent 50% de la motivation. On rencontre une équipe qui est l'outil du championnat tunisien. On marque
Yeah, so that one's a pretty amazing case study. They didn't have Wi-Fi problems on that day. But it just sort of shows you, I think if you click I guess just how you can engage that fan at home and thinking outside the box with some activations. But yeah, pretty phenomenal story of having to run out there without any fans at all and being able to connect those fans in that sort of crowdsourced, make them feel a part of it. So if you can build your campaigns around it in that sort of manner, the big one.
Yeah, that's the lesson, be creative, as crazy as you can. And thanks. Initially, I think Sean wanted me to translate the French to English, but that's subtitle here.
So this one, I don't know if you've seen it, and it's Mound Ball. It's run by the guys at Major League Baseball, and we'll be able to play it tonight. We'll be able to play it tonight because there's a Royals Mound Ball. This is just an example of a pure engagement piece, just having fun on the platform. And so the way Mound Ball works is if the pitcher leaves the ball on the base, then they're going to give away a prize. If he doesn't, they're not. So they've got these fans now tuning in to see where the ball is going to be in between innings and doing it via Twitter. So it's completely stupid, but it's they've now got, I think if you click, they launched it a couple of weeks ago. They're only doing it with a couple of teams at the moment, but they've already got 5,000 followers. So there's already people playing. So it's just, again, it's that thinking outside the box. How can we engage our fans in a weird way? We were talking in some of the sessions earlier today, and if you have a team that's not winning or things aren't going well, how can you make these silly events into some sort of activation, into some sort of engagement play with the fans? And it seems to be working, pretty well for MLB. So I'm going to be tweeting Mound Ball tonight to see if, and I'll be watching very close at the end of innings to see where the ball was placed. But just again, just shows you the advantages of just playing on the platform for what they are. And, this is a really good spot for Twitter. And so this one you brought, Philippe, from Tour de France?
Yes, Tour de France in France, obviously. Good execution here from France TV. Basically, it's an Instagram base. At each stop, people were asked to upload their Instagram photo, and obviously with the geolocation, so it created this entire record document here that they put online here. So,
and this one's great because it's that crowdsourcing. It shows how colourful and awesome it is to be at the Tour de France. And it's perfect for Instagram because you've got all the crazy filters. Everything that you produce on an Instagram photo is beautiful, or so people think. But it shows all the colour. I mean, again, because Instagram is more geo-friendly than Twitter. It's great to be able to show here's all the content. So, for me, this one is really great because it's profiling the fan content. Like we've done stuff with tournaments and stadiums, getting your fans to take those shots and send them in is a great way of doing it. And being able to, activate around a map and show off what the fans are seeing is a really good way of doing it.
Football example.
So this is sort of similar to the Timberwolves stuff around the draft. So this is the Falcons, particularly social hub. Again, making the draft an event and giving them a place to consume everything. From a point of view of their picks and all their social content. So sharing both their content and some of the fans. So it's getting into that social curation space which I think is good because you want to make sure your fans are connecting with other fans. I can't remember what session it was before. Even Chris was saying how he's got 20 or 30 of these brand champions. You need to be publicising those brand champions and things like this, so they know that they're doing the right thing.
And again, those work well during an event. Right?
Yeah, so
this would have that the entire season. You get a little.
Yeah, so again, this is during the draft, so they've been craving for information and they don't have as much, and so this kind of activation works really well for that.
And these guys did as well, right?
So this is the St. Louis Rams one. So I think this is with Wayne. I'm going to get a nod at the back. Yeah, this is with Wayne. Again, so about ask the fans questions, profile your content around the draft. So again, it just gives them that different. Twitter's good to give those different visualizations. Because not everyone follows everyone that they need to do. Not everyone knows how to follow a hashtag. So fans still need these kind of visualizations to understand why they should be on Twitter, or why they should be on Pinterest, or why they should be on Tumblr. So, you want to be able to show these different representations of what they think might be normal, but show it in a different way to say, oh, that's why I want to be accessing that content. So if you scroll down, it's bringing in all the tweets.
Yeah, and just real quick at the top also, I like how they added some interactivity. So it's one thing to just bring in photos and call it a day, but if you take it to the next level and have people tweet, or even I would like to see maybe an input box there, maybe a pre-populated hashtag, just do it right there.
Well, that's the thing. I think you can click the buttons and it will be effective voting for that.
Perfect. And here's the mosaic board.
So this one is another Nike activation that they did around a women's running race in Sydney. I'll let the video explain it, then I'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff that they did with Facebook to sort of integrate the social component.
Within the female running community, Nike wasn't seen as a credible choice for serious runners. In fact, most female runners wore Nike from head to ankle, but found it hard to commit to wearing Nike on their feet. We also uncovered the truth that when women ran, they ran alone. They were left to overcome their fears and achieve their goals by themselves. To us, this seemed at odds with women's natural inclination to discuss, share, and overcome barriers together. In light of this, our idea was simple. As a female runner, you're far stronger and more powerful when you're part of a group than you could ever be as an individual. There is true power in numbers. We use this thought to ignite a community of female runners, empowering them to redefine their sport and change the way they train forever. We started our conversation through social media with a rally cry for change, stimulating chat around the barriers women face. It was during this conversation that we realized we needed to tackle the biggest barrier of all, running alone at night. We began by recruiting women who already had the courage to run in the dark. We received hundreds of responses from women whose stories inspired an online short film.
And the more of us that run, the brighter we can burn.
Next, we challenged our community by announcing that we would hold a 13K night race for runners. The film also acted as a registration device that could be personalized to every runner and passed on to their friends, celebrating grassroots runners across gyms, online, in-store, print, and outdoor, which in turn inspired other women to join the movement. Every piece of communication incorporated an invitation to a mini women's-only run club.
Hey, I'm Daniela.
I'm Grace. I'm Veronica. If you're interested in night running, then come for a run with us at Piedmont.
Allowing women to not only train for the 13K run, but connect with other women along the way, trying to unite female runners at every touch point, enabling them a way to share their stories, goals, and achievements. Race night became a celebration. For one night, women turned the tables on the dark. We smashed down our own barriers too, exceeding all expectations and KPIs. For us, this demonstrates the power of a culturally connected idea, one that helps a community to form, shifts perceptions, and ultimately changes how people interact with a brand. We set out to shake up running for women and sparked a movement that unleashed a powerful, thriving community, a community that's still running.
Yeah, so that campaign was heavily integrated with Facebook. So like they said there, they had a Facebook registration process, and it was, so obviously that's terrific from a data point of view. So they were getting the data of all the registrants, the engagement and the content side of things, again, absolutely killing it as far as the content they were producing, but then also getting their fans to produce it. The race itself, because everyone had registered with Facebook and everyone had the Nike Plus tracking devices, as the women were coming up to the 5K mark, their Facebook avatar came up on the digital screen and said, keep going. And so, like, you know, they were like, oh, didn't realise, and charging on. So, like, they really stepped up, I guess, the integration with the Facebook Connect and the registration and put it through the whole race. So, really, you know, powerful way of developing the community around the event. This one you sent through, it's pretty recent.
Yes. I thought this was great. Again, engaging the fans. So PGA Championship with Jack Nicklaus here. I think there's this, yeah.
So it allowed the fans to pick the pin position.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the end, this is just a effectively multiple choice sweepstakes competition. But the fact that they've got, you know, the content pieces there that fans can check the flyover, you know, it's got a bit of buzz. It's really high value for a golf fan to be able to say where they're going to pick the pin. You know, I'm sure there'll be a few golfing buddies that have got bragging rights when, yeah, I went with C, they picked C, I was obviously right. But it's just, you know, it's more unique than just saying, you know, tell us who's your favourite golfer, or, you know, what kind of, when do you play golf, that kind of thing. You know, I think it worked really well. It got really good press as well because it was in that crowdsourcing space, effectively allowing the fans to decide. Sometimes you've got to be careful because sometimes the fans don't know what they're doing, but in this case, if they're happy with one of the four options, it's a good play.
And it's fun because they actually make an impact. It's not just what do you think and, oh, I would love to see this. It's actually the pin's going to move. We had a similar example at NASCAR where we asked the fan to vote on the format of our All-Star race. Do you want 30 laps? Do you want 60 laps? We make them decide, and we go for it. Our competition goes for it. So nice way for them to feel.
And it gives them that emotional connection because they're feeling like part of the decision process.
Exactly.
So this one is one that we did with the Auckland Blues using Digital Cheer Squad, where it was pretty much rewarding fans for what they were doing on social networks, so Facebook and Twitter. But it wasn't exactly, you know, it wasn't the platform that did it. It was the way that the Blues ran it. They really focused on servicing these fans because they're really avid super fans. And some of the stuff that generated out of it, actually, if you can go back, was like they found that the fans started congregating and sitting together. So now they're going to have a specific bay so these fans can all sit together. They started running events specifically for these super fans and getting really great results because these fans were trained on what they wanted to do. They would stand in front of a sponsored banner. They knew they had to Facebook it and tweet it and Instagram it. So it's worked out really well. And to the point where, you know, we've got to the point where we said, oh, don't forget to thank the sponsor because they've provided True Blue HQ, and they've been sent 194 tweets saying, thanks, guys. Now, Barfoot and Thompson, they're not in the technical space. They're a real estate agent. But the social manager at Barfoot and Thompson loves it because their feed is full of people praising how awesome they are. I've actually got a meeting with them next week, or when I get back. I'm hoping that we get the research back that says, yes, we sold a house because someone came in, because all the Blues fans have been tweeting about us as a real estate agent all winter. You know, and then from a content point of view, if you go next, you know, we've been doing stuff like infographics around the stats of what the fans have been doing, but then also profiling the fans with a simple fan of the week. And because we've connected all of those fans, the amount of digital backslapping that happens when you announce a fan of the week, because they all know each other, they're all friends now, they've met in real life, which I think is, you know, having those fan events and connecting those digital fans just locks them in. You know, then they will always be talking about your team. You know, they become friends, and, you know, so every time the Blues announce a fan of the week, they all get retweeted from them, from everyone in the list. They're all pretty pleased with themselves. The other key component of it was putting the ladder and integrating it in the rest of the site. Sort of, again, you know, the fans were pretty happy to see their face on the regular site.
So you had the sponsors sponsoring the program right there, right?
Yeah.
And we're seeing a lot of that. Our partner now are not just asking for banner ads, things like that. They want to engage with the content, and social is the right way to do it. So we're cooking a lot of things like that at NASCAR.
So this is another one that's, again, it goes back to the map thing, but it's more around engagement and connecting your fans. So Manchester City have had this out for a while. It's still live, and effectively allows you to tag where you are and find out where all the Manchester City fans are. So it's a terrific data play. You go to, say you want to tag yourself, similar to the fan cam stuff. You've got to give your data to be able to tag yourself, but they're able to show, there's over 24,000 fans there, but then you can find other fans. So you can go and put someone's name in who you know is a Manchester fan, and they'll say, oh, he's in London. And so you can connect with your friends or tag your friends and that kind of thing. So again, it's about making a connection, but also showing that, there's 482 in Melbourne and there's, 1,100 in the eastern seaboard of the US. So it just shows you that there's like people around you. Pretty much for Manchester City, it's about, like they've extended this now and they're building localized websites for different regions around the world, and pretty much based off this data. They know they've got the fans there, so they can now build the sites. So this one was primarily a data play with the Melbourne Storm. So the video there is we ran effectively a competition saying, hey, come along the journey jersey, come along the journey in the finals, and we asked them to enter their details, and we built this. It's about a green jersey with all the fans' names on it, and we told the fans it's going to be in the locker room during the playoffs. So the players will run past it, they'll touch it, or we'll tell them they'll touch it, and so it was their way of being in the locker room during the playoffs. And so we initially did it, then we produced a secondary one to have it out in the concourse, and all the fans could get their photo in front of it. So in a week, I think we collected 1,500 emails of fans that wanted to be part of it. We then added a season ticket holder base to the jersey, so it had 1,500 in the end. On top of getting all the social sort of attraction that the fans gave it, it got earned media with the local television and the broadcasters showing off the jersey, both in the locker room and then around grand final week, and all's well that ends well. The Storm went on to win the championship. That's last year. So the Storm fans have fond memories of the Journey jersey. So we're now trying to figure out how we can take it to the next level this year.
That's right. And again, it's one thing to upload a photo to Instagram, it's another thing to seeing it, an execution like this. We've done it on some cars as well. Brad Keselowski's done it, Ryan Newman's done it, where you put your photo and you get that little avatar on the car. And we're working on another one right now for the chase, where we'll feature a prize winner, their Twitter handle on the car. So we're working on that right now.
So this is one of the last ones we'll look at with thank you, Sir Alex. So Man United said goodbye to Sir Alex Ferguson. Again, they weren't on Twitter at this stage, but from a content and an engagement and a data point of view, they absolutely smashed it. So they built this mini site. They integrated they did some work with Twitter and pretty much pushed out the hashtag thank you, Sir Alex, which was trending worldwide. I think they were like 8 minutes, something ridiculous. It went really exceptionally viral. But what they did do is asked all their fans to post messages. So if you're already in the Manchester United system, you could just log in and leave your message for Sir Alex. But what they did is they sent it out to their, I think it's 35 million Facebook fan base. It's a ridiculous number. But just click and this is the picture that they put up on Facebook. Send Sir Alex your thank you message and we're going to create him a book. They could have just said, give us your email, please. Because all they did was send them to a Buddy Media Facebook tab that said email, name, date of birth, and 25 words to Sir Alex. But the good thing is that they didn't just stop there. They took all that content and they created a book. They leather bound it. They did a couple of different versions. They got Sir Alex to sign it, and there you go. It's a prize. It's a limited edition piece. But yeah, 161,000 people liked that post. Like, they really capitalised on the traffic that they got, for Sir Alex signing. So for them, they absolutely, like I said, smashed this activation out of the park to one. They knew they were going to get great engagement from their fans. The unfortunate thing is, 4 days later, when they was, because they had to replace, obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson, and David Moyes was pegged to be the new, now is the new manager. Unfortunately, we've all had mistakes, unfortunately they tweeted out the link to the app to say, "Welcome, David Moyes," 2 days before he signed. And he was still working at Chelsea. So they deleted the tweet, but no, you can't delete a tweet, it's gone. So, they did everything right for Sir Alex, but it was a little bit awkward for the first day or two when they were announcing David Moyes, but trying to follow the same thing. But yeah, if you look at some of the data that was coming through, both from a Twitter point of view, again, for a team that wasn't on Twitter, but then to get some of that content was pretty phenomenal. To sort of wrap up and not go too long, because I can only stand so long on this foot. The main things that, when you are going to go and do a campaign, and you're going to be tackling one of these three things. You're going to promote your content, engage your fans and get data. I don't think you need to do all three with everyone. You will have ones that just naturally do all three, or a killer like the Black Mamba or the Nike one that do all three. But then you'll have ones like Mountain Ball that's just pure engagement. So it is. I think it is important to know that you want to try to tackle one of those three and have a goal around that, which sort of leads us to our takeaways from the session. Is to, first of all, to know your goal, to know what you're trying to achieve out of it, rather than, I think you were talking about when we were doing the prep stuff, you don't want to just do something, that's cute. You want to know what your goal is, and so if your goal is engagement, cute can work, but you've got to make sure you push that.
That's right.
So this one, I call market your marketing. I've seen a lot of teams put a lot of effort into building some activation and then just push it out and think it's going to happen. And it's a bit like the brief, can you make me a viral video? Which no one can ever do when you ask them that. But so for this is, market your marketing. And so it's one, how are you pushing this out? Where are you advertising? Are you advertising it in stadium? Are you augmenting it with Facebook ads or Google ads, or promoting it with Twitter? Because you can't just expect, our fans will just love that and eat it up. So there's nothing worse than spending a lot of time and money and effort putting something together, and if you don't, and then stop putting in that effort once you've pushed it out. So you really got to still market it via all your channels.
On the goals, market, remember the data from your initial slide, so make sure you get something out of it. If you use Connect, you can get a lot of data out of Facebook. If you're doing a fan cam, a contest, you can get registrant, you can get tons of those. So good to think ROI of how get something out of the program. So
and you got to make it fun. You've got to have, for mine, you've got to think about it from a fan point of view. I know all of us will have seen ad sponsor promotions forced onto us, and we've had to push back to say the fans won't want it. You really need to have that fan hat on, and will they think it's fun? Will it have, like Mike was saying, will it have the payoff for them? And the payoff might be, their Instagram shot gets on the screen, or that they might have a tour or something. But it really does have to be, fun and enticing to the fan. So that pretty much wraps up our sort of showcase of different digital campaigns.
Global showcase.
Global showcase. I'm glad to have the Tunisians involved. More than happy to take any questions or talk talk about different parts of digital campaigns. Go to the next slide. So if this is recorded properly, this will be a future Sports Geek podcast. And if it didn't record properly, Philippe and I will be doing this again and recording it for a future Sports Geek podcast. So hopefully it's recorded, and if it's not, then we'll be back on Skype and recording it again. So thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the baseball. And
please leave a review on iTunes. Go to sportsgeekhq.com/iTunes. Find all Sports Geek podcasts at sportsgeekhq.com/SGP. Thanks for listening to the Sports Geek Podcast.